Hello
Hello and welcome
to Talking Spirit with Tracy and
Tash.
welcome to our episode number 3 of series 2, where we will be talking about past life regression.
I love past life regression.
It's a fascinating subject.
It really is. You find that when you talk about past life to people as well, their ears prick up too, don't they? Because it is such a fascinating subject.
Yeah.
And when you go into the depths of it, it's there's so much that makes sense, and they start sort of analysing their own lives, thinking, right, what is out of sorts here, or what do I have a fear of that doesn't make sense?
Yeah. What did I bring with me into this life from my past life? So we believe that you have lots of lives and you come back, choose the life you want to, in the sense of what you want to learn, and then live it. And there's always a life lesson within that life. And if you don't quite master it, you come back and do it all again. So you repeat until you learn.
Not always the same setup, so it wouldn't be sort of the same family unit.
No, it's not Groundhog Day.
No, it might be different, but we do believe we have your soul families.
So that's the point. So we will come back and live a life to learn a lesson. And you have soul groups, don't you?
Yeah, soul groups, that's the one.
Which is why you might feel you know someone when you've just met them. There's a familiarity. They could be from a past life, but they could also be part of your soul group. So this always baffles me when your mum could have been your brother and your brother could have been your husband. So we tend to recycle ourselves over and over with the same people to learn the lessons together. That's a theory. Obviously, we can't prove that.
No, you and I have both had many past life regressions, and it seems to be the common denominator is who's who within that circle, in that environment.
And you get a sense that you realise that your brother in a past life is actually your sister in this one, because you just feel it. Yeah. So Tash and I are both past life regression therapists. And I also train people to be therapists, which is fascinating.
Brilliant. Here at Talking Spirit.
So we have a lot of opportunity to do past life regressions, but also to be guinea pigs for people, which is equally fun.
We never turn that down, do we?
No.
That's fascinating.
And also you get to lay down and close your eyes, which is always a bonus.
And go on a journey.
Yeah.
Like no other.
So if you've never had past life regression done before, it's not usually hypnotherapy. It is a guided meditation that takes you to deep relaxation, where you then, through intention, go back to a past life, one of them, and then you are able to see and feel and hear what your past life entailed and who you once were. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it, because at first you think, I must be making this up.
It really does feel like you're making that up, but you just can't be, because you're also feeling the feels.
Yeah.
You can feel the emotions.
And you surprise yourself. If it was you making it up, you wouldn't surprise yourself because you knew what would come in.
Yeah, and to be honest, some of the stuff that's not really what you would make up.
Hell no. I'm not that warped.
Yeah, Tracy will be taking you on a right journey with everyone. I mean, yeah, the hot chocolate in the face is nothing.
What I got up to in a past life, you can write a book.
Yeah.
And this life has obviously got none of that in it. It's very, very mature and tame. So we've had quite a few excursions into a past life, and if you get a chance to, I would recommend having past life regression, because it will help you perhaps understand why you might have certain feelings or fears that you've had in this life but don't seem to belong anywhere. There's nothing from your past that you can say, oh well, that's why I feel like that. So you have triggers almost brought over from a past life, and having a past life regression helps you understand where those triggers are from. And you yourself have had that, haven't you, lovely?
I have. Yeah, and just to point out as well that not all past lives are like gloomy and dramatic. We do have beautiful past lives, but on a personal level, they're the boring ones to delve into. Yeah, we like to go for the nitty-gritty ones and go, right, let's get to the crux of this.
And also because you can heal from them. So the nitty-gritty ones you want to go and visit, because then you'll go, okay, that's why I've got a fear of a cupboard or a river or a man with a beard. So I can clear that and not have to live my life in a fear that really doesn't need to be in this life. And the nice ones are great. It reminds you that you can bring in certain elements from that past life into your life now. Say perhaps you were a witch and you liked making herbal remedies, then you might want to bring that in, or you found joy in the simple things, but really you go back to a more of a traumatic past life because you got shit to clear.
You've got it to clear. Yeah, you don't need to hold on to it. And you do actually feel that shift. Once you've cleared it, it honestly makes a world of difference. I've had fears that never really made sense, and now I don't have them at all. One of them was the woods, and I'm absolutely fine going into the woods now.
Tell us more.
I shall tell you more. But this is quite an interesting one. This is one of the first ones I had, really. And I've always in this life felt like I have been murdered in a past life. No other detail. I don't know who I was, when, whatever like that, but I just always felt like I'd been murdered. I had a fear in this life of walking through the woods and finding a body, which just sounds mental, but it was a fear. I have a real fascination with cold case investigations, missing people, through the spiritual elements, looking at them from a psychic mediumship point of view. And what's really interesting is in a past life, in 1902, when I was 6 years old, I lived with my mum. My dad had sadly passed away. My mum's name was Grace. And we're in sort of like a wooded, almost mountainous area. So we're very rural or out in the wops. I don't know if you say wops, but
no, we don't.
Do you? Out in the sticks. My mum had a friend. He was a guy friend, and he took me out one day, and he took me into the woods, and he killed me. Now, what was very interesting was I saw my spirit leave my body as he was killing me, and that made me feel really reassured that I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
So that was quite fascinating. I found that really interesting. Anyway, I became a missing person. And eventually they found me, but they never found the killer, so I was a cold case. So that is the missing person, the cold case, body in the woods.
Yeah.
And being murdered in a past life, but it was all in this one particular life.
Sounds like a Netflix documentary.
It does, and it was so fascinating. So it was where my interest in the cold case and the missing people, all that came into play.
So you had a lot of detail in your past life, possibly because you're open to it and you trust this process and you trust yourself that you're not making it up. I think other people might not have so much detail.
No.
But you can still have a real experience, can't you?
You can. And can I just say, I can walk through the woods. Like, I do not have that worry or that fear now. And that's it. And I think they all sort of vary as well, because there'll be other ones that aren't as detailed.
Yeah, that's true. Depending on what kind of person you were as well in that past life. If you were observant, maybe you would see more because you saw more in that past life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an interesting subject. I've had a few, and I think the first one I ever had, I'd gone to a workshop and it was a group past life regression. So I didn't have a clue what was happening. I just remember coming out of it like snot bubbles, the lot.
Yeah.
Don't let me put you off having past life regression. I felt amazing after the snot bubbles cleared because I felt like something had lifted. And in that first past life of mine that I experienced, I was a young child and my mum had died and I was devastated. Now, this hasn't happened, touch wood, in this life. So there was no way I could have recreated those feelings. I could have an empathy for it, but this was like off the chart.
It's like you're living it in that moment.
So a feeling of abandonment and so forth. So once I was free, I didn't even know I'd been carrying that. I felt like a weight had been lifted. I remember just that evening just feeling amazing. And then from that, there's been lots of different explorations into past life. So a past life regression is about, like I say, going into a deep relaxation and then taking someone over a bridge. It's as simple as that. And then once they're over the bridge and the light clears, they're able to look down and see what they're wearing.
I love that. That's my favourite bit. I mean, I do love the story, what plays out and what you see. But there's something about being on the other side of that bridge and then looking at the ground and what you're wearing and who you are I absolutely love it.
It unfolds, doesn't it? And then they look up and go, I'm in a street or I'm in wherever they are. And you can hear them in their voice trying to work it all out. Like, where am I? What is this? Oh, I know. This seems familiar. And it's such like a beautiful story unfolding. It's fascinating. So if you've not experienced it, as I say, it's a good idea to do one. And for me, the last one I had, I'm not proud of this, Tash.
She says with the biggest grin on her face and the evil laugh that's just gone with it.
Well, I probably need to do some kind of disclaimer here, and probably in general with the podcast for this episode, is that there is going to be violence mentioned and the killings. So I just need to, if you're triggered by these things, please turn off now. If you're a nosy what's it like I am, keep listening.
Yeah.
So I did a past life regression, and this was with a student who was learning to become a past life regression therapist. So I was the guinea pig, which was fab. And it transpired that I was a man in probably around, I don't know timings very well. I'd say Victorian time. And my first foray into this past life was I was in a dark street and there was a tramp on the floor, and this past life man kicked him and enjoyed it. So that was like the first thing, and I remember thinking, oh God. And then it got worse and worse. So he obviously really enjoyed hurting people, and almost to the point where he felt nothing. So he tried to get some kind of reaction from it. I remember being very clear that as this past life person, he didn't hurt animals, which, you know, he had some morals, very little, but he had some. And then it got worse, and he was trying to get a rise from actually hurting women. I just want to say here, I don't think I was Jack the Ripper. I think it was either someone who's sick or a copycat. And I had this visual of a past life of actually with a knife going at a woman and wanting to feel something and feeling nothing. I mean, that's not funny. That's horrific. And I don't want anyone to think that if you have a past life regression, you're going to see yourself murdering people. No. Please bear in mind, I have had so many past life regressions that at some point I'm going to have the one where I took one for the team. Everybody possibly has had one of these lives, so they can grow from it. But the thing that did make me laugh at the end of it was I got caught for something. It wasn't bizarre. It wasn't killing women. You know, you think that'd be it. It's probably because I pinched a loaf of bread and I was being hung. I remember watching the crowd out in front of me, and as the rope went round my neck and it went up and I grabbed hold of it, I just shouted out, "You're all a bunch of whores," and that was my parting gift to the world. Yeah. So he felt no remorse, and I have to say that is not me at all. No,
that's not you at all.
I can't stand killing things. I can't watch it on TV. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, it's like you're the other end, on the other end of the spectrum. You're very sensitive now.
Yeah.
And very much an empath, and just feel everything and everybody else's emotions you feel as well.
But it would explain the weird thing when I say to you, when I have a knife in my hand, I get intrusive thoughts. Now, again, I would just like to point out, I don't act on them, but I think it was the past life and it being triggered.
I am making a mental note to change the cutlery to plastic.
If I suddenly turn around mid-buttering, you're going to just like crap yourself.
Soup from now on, guys. We're only allowed soup from now on.
So the reason why I can laugh about this horrific life is because it was just a memory and it was so far removed from who I am. I could visualise it and I could see that it was a past life, but I also know I've had plenty of past lives in between where I've learned and grown and not been a psychopath.
Yeah, there are the happy ones. Do you also find that you suddenly have this fear or this worry that's really niggling at you and you can't understand why you've got it, and it just comes from nowhere? So it's not like a fear that you've had throughout life but not understanding why you do have that fear, like the words and stuff, but it just comes on and it's just on your mind all the time and you think there's something here.
Yeah.
And I remember having that, and it is going back to one of my stories, and I don't mean to go, oh, let's make it about me, but I just found it very interesting that this wasn't a fear or a worry that I'd always had, and it kind of just sprung on me, and it was this fear of going to prison for something that I hadn't done or intended to do, like it was an accident, and it was really getting to me, like really stressing me out in this life, to the point where I was thinking, is this a premonition that something's going to happen unintentionally and I'm going to end up in prison? And it wasn't until I did a past life, and mine was going back in time as well, and I don't know my eras either, but I was a man and I had been working like really long shifts. I didn't have a lot of money, I had a family to feed, and I remember at the end of the day, you know, when you're so tired you could hardly walk, and there was like, again, it was quite rural, it was like a wooden, almost looked like a shed, like a cabin, and it was, I don't know if it's called like an ale house or something, but I went in and had a beer, and I was just at the bar drinking, and even now I can see myself just exhausted and just thinking, I'm going to drink this and then I'm just going to make my way home. And these guys were starting to provoke me, And I was saying to them, no, not now. Please just leave me alone. I'm too tired to want to drink this and I want to go home. And they just keep going and going and going and going to the point that in the end I just stood up and threw a punch. And it was a fatal punch. And I remember leaving and almost staggering. And it wasn't because I was drunk. It was just the impact of the situation down this path. But as I was doing the past life regression, I remember feeling that and tasting that sick, you know, that bile sick that you get. And I remember throwing up and just, it's like a punch to the gut. It's just being sick. And I could taste that. Nice. And I remember having to go home to my wife, and I had young children, and just breaking down and telling them I love them and I'm sorry. And then, like you in that time, you were hung.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened.
But it explains why you had that fear of just being accused of something.
But it came on from nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And it was crippling.
So it was wanting to be healed. It's almost like your soul's going, can we just get rid of this trauma? Because this is too much.
That's it. So was there a trigger that I was unaware of that brought it on? I don't know. But I don't have that fear again. And it was the fact that, and I didn't even realise it was due to a past life. I was just carrying this worry.
Yeah.
But happened to be a guinea pig. And it came up and it's like,
that will be it.
That will be it.
That's fascinating, because once you know where it comes from, you can release it, as I say. But one of the times when it really blew my mind was when I had a visit from someone in my past life. He came into this life.
Oh, wow.
It was a guy. He was Italian. Hello. And he came through to me, first of all, and I didn't know what the hoo-ha it was. I couldn't really place it. I didn't know who this spirit was, didn't really get an answer. And then I did a circle with a friend. We were running a circle. And she said, I keep getting this guy come through. He's from your past life, like your last life. He was Italian. I was like, oh, yes. And you know, he said it was a shame that we never had any bambinos, which is obviously children, isn't it? Yeah. I think possibly that's the only Italian she knew, so she inserted that. And I know that my past life before this one was I died in a car, because I used to dream about the car in this life. I used to dream about my little white sports car. Now, I didn't learn to drive till I was about 30, and I never knew why. I thought I was just lazy and I wanted to lift. And I realised it was because I was driving around these windy cliff top things, mountains, cliff tops.
In Italy?
Yeah. And I was fiddling with the radio, so me, and I think I just drove off the edge. Oh my God.
It was a merry tune.
Probably played my hair as well, doing my hair in the mirror. And I know it was Italy because when I got married in Amalfi, those were the roads.
Really?
Yes.
So you went back to that place?
Yes.
And got married?
And I also saw that place in a dream. It all gets a bit like, why? So not only did I see where I once lived and ended up getting married there, I also had a visit from the man from my past life, who obviously didn't go back into another life and has just hung around in spirit for a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah. And that explains why I kept seeing a little white sports car in my dreams.
Yeah.
And why I was lazy cow, I didn't get driving lessons till I was 30. Mainly because my husband made me.
Yeah. But there was obviously something there. There was that, whether it's that inner fear, something was stopping you.
I didn't trust myself to drive.
Yeah. Really?
So now I know why. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, you told me once when I was driving, you said, you're going to make a bloody sandwich as well while you're at it.
Yeah.
I could give it a go. So, yeah, it's not always that you then reincarnate with that soul group.
No. Some hold back. But then that's also like that beautiful client that we've got where I think it was, you correct me if I'm wrong, but during the war, wasn't it? She lost her soulmate at war.
Oh.
And he comes through
to
meditations and that. And you can feel that connection and that love.
Yeah.
It is so strong.
And isn't it strange that that man in this instance and my Italian man didn't go into another life? They must have just went, yeah, do you know, I'm going to have a chill in spirit for a little while.
Do you think so? Or do you think it's like they want to, it's their way of looking after you, making sure that you're going to be okay? If the love was so strong, taken away.
Well, he's doing a crap job because that's the only time I saw him.
Yeah, but you don't have to. But I mean, some people try and marry their old spirit, maybe.
I know. I mean, he is Italian, so maybe he's just like drinking coffee, having a fag somewhere and like knowing I'll be all right.
But you don't have to feel him to know that, you know, he's around.
I quite like to feel him. He was nice.
Well, that's probably why he's shown himself once.
Because I went, hello.
You'll be that crazy lady that's married her spirit guide from a previous life.
What's wrong with that? I get in the magazines and everything if I do that. There is always someone who goes, I married my ghost.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You're bonkers.
And they do say they have intimate relationships.
No, you didn't. Spirits like that. Don't make me. I'm not happy about this.
I promise I'll come back and come back and live a few more lives after this one. Take me now. I'll go to the light.
Yeah, I've changed my mind.
Show me the light.
Abort mission. Yeah, none of that. We won't go down that route in our past life regression.
No. But you've been my sister.
Yes.
I was the boy. I was like, all right. I was the boy, you were my sister, and Claire was our mum.
Oh, Claire's the co-founder of Talking Spirit. So when did you do this? I wasn't part of it, was I?
You were here, so I'm glad it was memorable. But it was really interesting because it was like little cobble streets, and it's very the London vibe of, and they had the apple carts. And we didn't have a lot of money, but our mum, Claire, taught us and gave us really good morals. So we never stole. It was very interesting because during past life we will say, go back to where you lived and things like that. So we will take you to certain periods, or is there a period that you really need to go where you need to learn things from or learn something from? I went home and she had the same quality as Claire now, the very caring, the very loving, very grateful. They didn't have a lot.
Yeah. So Claire didn't need to evolve too much because she'd already kind of nailed it in the past one.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that. So the other thing you can do for past life regression, apart from have one, is give yourself a past life regression reading. So we do this, don't we, in groups. We get pairs, people to sit in pairs, and then one will go first, and they look to the side of their partner and in their intention ask to be shown a past life. And it is scarily quick and accurate to do it. And what you can do if you don't have anyone to practice on is do it in the mirror, and then you just gaze to the side of you and say, show me my past life. Don't expect to see it reflected in the mirror, more as a kind of visual in your mind. Don't discount anything, because you will tend to think, I just made that up. And you will start to see a scene or situation building up. So if you go with that, you will get a gist of who you once were in one of your past lives.
And sometimes it's just knowing as well. You may not see the pictures as such, but you just know, like, oh my gosh, I'm a boy and I'm 6 and this is what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I know, but I just do.
Yeah.
And it's that feeling.
Or you might find yourself in a battle scene all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So a very important or significant part of that past life will be shown to you as you practice this.
Yeah. And feeling the emotions.
Yeah. And then you might say, okay, what do I need to know from this past life? And it will show you perhaps something of trauma. Again, don't be frightened of it. It's a very disassociated memory. And then if you have got someone to practice on, even better, because in fairness, they can't say, yes, that's right or wrong, because they're probably unlikely to have remembered their past lives. But there might be aspects of it they can relate to.
Yeah.
So if I was going to give you a past life reading, I'd look to the side and I would just say to myself, I want to know who Tash was in a past life, or one of her past lives, and go from there. Actually, I'm better off on the other side. Let me try that. And straight away, it always surprises me. I see a visual of a little girl sitting on the floor, and she's got a bow in her hair, so she's all kind of trussed up in finery with little ankle socks and buckle shoes, and it's you. And all this stuff's happening around you, and you're just sitting on a floor. I don't know what era that is, maybe 50s, 60s? You know when kids had to wear really frilly stuff?
Yeah.
Might even be the 80s. Well, not that I was born then.
I was going to say.
Oh yeah, you were already born.
I was already born.
I've just made you younger. It's not the 80s.
Selling as well, Trace. Selling as well.
Yeah. It's because I can't recognise the fashion. I would say probably, I'm going to go with 40s or 50s. Just keeping my bets open there. And you're sitting there and there's stuff happening around you, but you're quite happy. But it feels like there's an argument happening, like a mum and dad arguing, but everybody's dressed up. A bit like in America, where everyone goes to church and they always have to...
the Sunday best.
Yeah, it's like that. So if I was to carry on, I would see more of your past life. You might start to get aspects of it as well. You have to be careful not to kind of create a story, I guess.
Yeah, it's trying to not fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Just say what you're getting and what you're seeing. Start trying to fill in the blanks, your brain, your human side's jumping in.
Like it did with trying to work out the dates, the years.
Yeah.
But actually, as you can see, it was a surprise as the scene grew around you of what was happening. Oh, there's your parents. they're having a row. So it's not planned, it's not my brain, because I'm surprising myself with it. So have a go on your friends or loved ones if they're up for it, and see where it takes you. It's a fascinating subject to explore.
And if not, the mirror.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we can recommend is, at times when you're having a past life regression done, you might think in the moment, I don't want to go any further, I don't go any further. We would never force you to, but we would encourage you, because you are disassociated with it. So when you come back out of the, because it is like you are in a meditative state, when you come out, you no longer, you leave it behind.
So how I explain this to clients is, it's like being really engrossed in a film. You watch it, you can kind of get the gist of it and you feel it, and then as soon as the film's over and you go and make a cup of tea, you're like, la la la, and that's how it feels to have past life.
It's more like it's a topic of conversation to hold with somebody else, and some answers have been answered. But it is, we do recommend to follow through with it, because you've gone into that past life for a reason.
Go in, have a good old rummage in your past life, feel everything. Don't hide from it, because sometimes people go, oh, I've got to go up those stairs, there's a man up there, I don't want to go up there, and I'm like, get up there now. I would never force anyone, by the way, side note.
No.
But it's worth it, like you say.
Yeah, and also you'll find that you'll have like really happy memories and beautiful like energy and emotions. You think, oh, I love that, it feels so good. You can bring that back over the bridge with you.
Yeah.
Bring all the good stuff.
Definitely.
All the good feels.
Yeah, as I say, if you were happy just playing in a field, in a sunny meadow, and you like the simple things in life, maybe you've forgotten that side of things. And I always remember moaning to spirit how I felt everything as an empath. I just got so fed up with being ultra sensitive to everything. Life felt so abrasive. So then the next time I had a past life regression, they showed me one of my lives where I was a businessman who felt nothing, not a single thing. He was like dead from the neck. Well, he's pretty much dead all the way internally. He had no feelings, and it was a very short visual, because what he did is actually took his own life because he felt nothing.
There was nothing there.
Yeah, so they were showing me, you know, to be appreciative of this life. Maybe I did feel quite a lot, but it's better to not feel anything.
Yeah, and being an empath and everything, it is hard, but we now know tools to help us to overcome some of those feelings, like the bubbling up and that. So to be an empath and living spiritually just is another magical experience. Don't have to feel things all the time. Yeah,
but I obviously needed a stern word, so they showed me that.
You're having a bit of a moan.
I was, which I never do.
No, of course not. Peace, love and joy, that one.
If I'm hungry or tired, forget talking to me. The basic needs are not met. I am grumpy.
It's like that, see, I can't function like form words, which there'll be a lot of editing in this, because my stomach will not stop rumbling.
Aww.
And I'm looking at you and you look like a baguette. And your green top is the lettuce.
Yeah, I'm basically morphing into food. So, yeah, on that note. So, lovelies, thank you for listening to our podcast, and I hope you find it interesting. We're all about the investigation of the soul and growth and spiritual growth.
And there's always an answer for everything.
There really is.
There always is an answer. And there's a reason, even though at times you think this is not fair, there'll always be a reason, and there's always an answer.
There is. And if you investigate it, knowledge is power.
It really is. So, stay curious,
stay magical,
and stay tuned
for the next episode of
Talking Spirit.
Yay!
Tracy and Tash.